Hey, what's up everybody? I hope you all are doing absolutely fine. This is Rudraditya and in this video I am going to do the review of iQOO Z3. Well, iQOO launched their first phone as the iQOO 3. Then after a long time they take a break and they came back with iQOO 7 series. They said that they were analyzing the market and they made up a strategy, and after that they launched iQOO 7 and 7 Legend at 30 and 40,000 rupees respectively. And now, just after the launch of iQOO 7 series, they launched the iQOO Z3 at 20,000 rupees. So now the question is that how good is this phone? And if you're thinking to buy this phone or a phone under 20,000 rupees, then this video is for you. Make sure to watch the video till the end to know everything. And now with that said, let's start the review. Alright guys, starting first with some highlighted specifications of this phone. Then we have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 768G 5G based on 7nm technology. Then we have 6.58-inch LCD display with 120Hz high refresh rate. Talking about the base variant, then we have 6GB RAM, 128GB storage, and it goes all the way up to 12GB RAM to 56GB storage, and the storage type is UFS 2.2. Talking more, then we have 4400 mAh battery with 55W adapter out of the box, so that's great. Now if we talk about the design, build quality and in-hand feel of this phone, then see. Talking first about the design, then the camera module looks fine and I like the silver ring on the ultra wide angle lens. And talking more, then you will get iQOO branding on the bottom left, although the back as well as the frame of the body is entirely made up of plastic. Well, I don't have any problem with the material of this phone, but they could have give us a better finish on the back, for example matte finish, because that finish might give us more premium look, because this phone doesn't feel premium. And also the back plastic is fingerprint city. So that's one more reason for demanding the matte finish, isn't it? Now talking about the colors, then iQOO Z3 is available in two colors, Ace Black and Blue, Cyber Blue. Well, talking about the color which I have, the Ace Black, then on the 25% of the top, you will notice that it's the mixture of silver and grayish color, then the rest is the mixture of black and blue. Same goes for frame of the body as well. The top and the 25% of the upper sides are silver and grays, you can say, and then the rest of the side and bottom frame is the mixture of black and blue. Still guys, the overall design of the rear is fine, but the things get really jumbled up when we talk about the front, because you will get an teardrop notch in 2021, and definitely this is not the trend of 2021 Q2, right? And also you will get a quite noticeable bezel on the bottom. I mean, it's a thick bezel. So in my opinion, the design, especially from the front, is completely outdated and I am not very impressed with the design at all. Now if we talk about the in-hand feel, then yeah, in-hand feel is fine. It's comfortable because the width of the phone is not wide, so it fits perfectly into your palm, and also the weight of the phone is just 185 grams thanks to the plastic bag, because this phone has 4400 mAh battery with 6.56-inch display size, and if we get the same dimension phone with glass body, then that would have more heavier as compared to this one. So it's comfortable to hold and it's easy to use with one hand, so no problems in terms of in-hand feel. As I said already that I don't have any problem with the plastic bag, but it's plastic, so it may catch scratches very easily as compared to the glass body. So I would definitely recommend you to use the case on it, and don't use that TPU case which comes out of the box, because that TPU case will get yellow after 1 or 2 months. And yes, one more thing, after applying the TPU case, the weight of this phone is close to 210 grams. But if we talk about the overall in-hand feel, then I am fine with the in-hand feel, but the design and build, they definitely cut a lot of corners. Alright guys, now I want to talk about the software first, because software is one very important thing, and I guess software is one of the biggest downside of the iQOO Z3. Now here's why. First thing first, this is how the phone looks when I set up my phone. I mean, it's full of default applications and tons of bloatwares you can easily see, and my notifications panel also flooded with Easy Share and V App Store. However, you can disable those notifications, and I would highly recommend you to do that, because they will just spam too much with their notifications. So the first thing you should do is to disable those notifications through the settings. Now the second thing which I am going to do is to change my home setup with Google applications and social media applications, right? And now it looks something like this, much better, isn't it? Do let me know in the comment box. Now if we talk about bloatwares, then yeah, there are a lot of bloatwares. Now you can uninstall some of them, but some of them you can't. And there are some recommendations like hot games and hot apps. So that's the thing. Now the things are getting really ugly when they start interfering in the Google applications. Like if you open the Chrome browser, then you will see that the default home browser is homepage.vivo.com. This is not the default Chrome browser. They using their their page even in the Chrome application, which is it's Google's application, right? And if you scroll down to see the articles, the news, then you will see tons of ads. You will see tons of ads. So that's definitely ruined the experience of users. And in the first 30 minutes you will get agreement terms and policies for like 5 to 7 times. Like suppose that if I have to set my weather application, then they will give you a privacy terms. Now in the privacy terms and policies, they will say that they are using your IP address and location, so that's fine. But if you scroll down a little bit, which most of the people will never do, they will just hit the agree button, right? But if you just scroll down a little bit, you will see that they said we will retain your personal data for 3 years from the date on which you last used the service. So yeah, I just don't trust this software. They are openly saying a lot of things, and if I am if I am thinking to use this phone as a daily driver, then I will think more than twice, and I won't feel secure for sure. So that's the thing. And in this phone, even in this phone, I haven't signed in through my mail email ID, and my main SIM is not in this phone. So that's the thing to note. I mean, software is the biggest downside of this phone. Well, if you want to know more about this phone, then here we go. Talking about the display, then this phone has 120Hz high refresh rate IPS LCD display. There's HDR support as well, but in Netflix you just cannot stream HDR contents, and that goes for all the Vivo and iQOO phones. I don't know what's the problem, but same I witnessed this in iQOO 7 Legend as well. But talking about the display quality, we could get AMOLED display at this price point, because Redmi Note 10 Pro are already offering us not only just AMOLED but 120Hz refresh rate at the same time as well. So we are paying 20,000, or you can say 17,500 rupees as well, but still we deserve AMOLED display at this price point. Now again, they cut the corner. And talking about the display quality, then the quality is fine, but again contrast level is definitely not that great as compared to AMOLEDs. And if we talk about the peak brightness, then it's just 460 nits, and in outdoors you might face some trouble, especially if the sunlight is so harsh. And yeah, one more thing I forgot about the display part, that you will get a Panda glass protection on the front. I don't know much about the Panda glass protection. I generally see Corning Gorilla glass protection in the phone, but here in this phone you will get Panda glass protection. Alright, now guys, let's talk about the performance. This is the place where this phone truly shines. But wait a minute, if your top priority is performance, then you can go with Poco X3 Pro. Poco X3 Pro has a Snapdragon 860 processor, and Snapdragon 860 is definitely powerful than the Snapdragon 768G. So if your top priority is like extreme gaming, and then you don't care about display, camera and other stuffs that much, then you should go with Poco X3 Pro rather than picking up this phone. But yeah, talking about this phone is actually very good. I played COD, yeah, the experience was good, and normal usage is just fine. It's just the 765G processor, but the clock speed in the 765G is 2.4 GHz, and here it is 2.8 GHz. So that's the main difference. So they increase the clock speed. So yeah, definitely you will going to get a good performance with this phone. Now guys, let's talk about the cameras. So starting first with the specifications. It packs a triple rear camera setup that includes a 64 megapixel lens with Samsung GW3 sensor with an aperture f1.79. Then you will get a 8 megapixel lens for capturing ultra wide shots with f2.2 aperture, and then you will get a 2 megapixel macro sensor with an aperture f2.4. Now let's see some photo samples. Starting first with the daylight and human skin tone, then yeah, the dynamic range is just excellent, the skin tone is fine, and I guess the iQOO Z3's rear camera is actually very good, especially in this price range, for capturing the human subjects with great dynamic range, and also the quality is just fine overall. And if we talk about the daylight shots in both ultra wide and wide lens, then yeah, they done the job quite well. However, sometimes I saw some yellow tint in warmer situations and blue tint in cooler situations. Now they tend towards the bluish and yellowish tint a lot. So maybe they can fix this through an OTA update. They have to fix the image processing. Otherwise the daylight shots are very good. I mean, the overall image quality is good with fine details and good dynamic range. Alright guys, so this is the front camera at 1080p 30 fps, and dynamic range is really bad. You can see it cannot expose the sun and me properly, as you can see, and the audio quality is also not that impressive. And overall, this is the quality of the front camera at 1080p 30 fps, and you cannot go any further in terms of resolution and frame rate. Now this is the rear video sample, and this is ultra steady mode, and when you select ultra steady mode, then it will automatically goes to the 1080p 60 fps mode, because it cannot shoot in any other fps and resolutions, and it also cropped the footage a little bit. So that's what I noticed, but overall the stability is good. And guys, this is the 4K 30 fps sample, and the good thing is that you will get EIS in 4K 30 fps as well. So overall the stabilization looks fine, but the bad thing about the iQOO Z3's camera recording is that you cannot switch through wide lens to ultra wide angle lens during shooting process. You have to set this before shooting. Once you start the recording, you cannot switch to the lenses. Now surprisingly, you will get 4K 60 fps mode as well in the rear camera of iQOO Z3, but unfortunately you won't get EIS in 4K 60 fps, so I won't recommend to shoot motion videos. You can shoot still videos through 4K 60 fps. Talking about the autofocus, then it's very fast and responsive, and I haven't seen any problem in autofocus. And now if we talk about the battery, then you will get 4400 mAh battery inside this phone, and the battery backup is actually very good. Now I test this on a smart switch, and then I get like 7.5 hours of screen on time, which is actually very good. And then I tested the battery at 120 Hz all the time, and I get between 6 to 6.5 hours of screen on time, which is again decent. So battery is actually very good, and we get 55-watt charger in the box. Again, that's great. So the charging speed is little slow considering the 55-watt charging adapter, because it will take around 50 to 55 minutes to charge from 0 to 100%. And I remember the iQOO 7 Legend has 66-watt charger, and it charges the phone in 26 to 27 minutes, which is actually pretty good. The OnePlus 9R also has 65-watt charger, and that phone charges 4500 mAh battery in 38 minutes. So comparing to those phones, this phone has slightly slow charging, but I mean, that's fine. Under 1 hour is still good. So that's pretty much it. Now if we talk about Rudra's extras, now starting with the good point, this phone has 4G carrier aggregation. Starting now, if we talk about the bad point, then this phone has very poor haptics, very negligible. So this is a very small thing, but this will improve the user experience. But unfortunately, the presence of haptic feedback is kinda absent here. Well, now I have two more good points. First, that this phone has headphone jack. That's very nice. Second, you will get a micro SD card slot as well. Talking about the earpiece quality, then it's fine. It's just decent. And if we talk about the fingerprint scanner, then it's very fast. It's very fast and very accurate. So no problems here. See. So yeah. The side mounted fingerprint scanner is fine. The buttons are tactile enough, no problem, and the button placements are also very fine. It's very comfortable to reach. Hey guys, editor Rudra is here because the Rudra which was hosting the video was missed few points, and that's why I am here to mention those points again. Now first thing first, this phone has wideband L1 support, so at least you can enjoy Netflix and Amazon contents in full HD plus resolution. Second, this phone is obviously a 5G phone, but you will get two 5G bands here, N77 and N78, so keep that in mind. Now the third thing, the speaker quality is actually very average. Yeah, it's decently loud, but it lacks richer tones, it lacks bass and punchiness. So overall I am not very impressed with the quality of the speakers. And fourth point is that this phone will get liquid cooling system with 5 layers of technology, and company claims that your phone will not heat even if you play heavy games. And to be honest, in my testing I haven't seen any heating issues in my unit at least. So that's all the 4 points which I want to add here. And now let's move back to the video. Alright, now it's conclusion time guys. So see, I saw some mid-range phones from Realme, from Poco. They launched 5G phones under 50,000 price, but there are a lot of trade-offs. I mean, they compromise a lot of things just to give a 5G phone under 15,000 price bracket. But when you increase your budget, if your budget is, suppose that if your budget is more like 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, then you just don't have to think about 5G now, because every phone is coming with 5G support, almost every phone. So this phone is also a 5G phone obviously, but the thing is that they compromises a lot of things just to give us a new processor. I mean, iQOO Z3 is the first phone which is using the Qualcomm Snapdragon 760 processor, and for just that new processor we have to compromise a lot of things. Yeah, camera is decent, the performance is also decent, but there is not a single one thing which is out of the box, I mean, which is the best in the segment, in this 20,000 price segment. No, the camera is decent, but you will get other phones with equally good cameras or with slightly less better performance. You will get Poco X3 Pro, but if you want an all-rounder, I guess Redmi Note 10 Pro is much better option than this one, because that will just, I mean, that comes for 16 and 16.5 thousand rupees. So you can save some money. If you don't have card discounts, then you have to pay 20,000 for this. So I guess better buy Redmi Note 10 Pro at 16.5 thousand rupees, and then with the rest of the money you can buy, earbuds or smartwatch, smart bands as well. So that would be a much smarter decision than picking up this one. I mean, this phone definitely doesn't fit in the 20,000 price category. They compromises a lot of things: build quality, design, outdated design, display quality, and yeah, software is one major thing. So you have to check all those things. If you are okay with that, if you just want iQOO phone with a new processor, then, and yeah, of course a decent camera, then you can go with this. Otherwise, I don't think this is a good option. Definitely, I'm definitely not going to pick this phone under 20,000 rupees. Now guys, if you have still any doubts, ask me in the comment box, but please don't repeat the same thing like how's the battery, how's the camera, how's the performance. Just ask me something new which I haven't covered in this video. And if you find this video helpful, then like the video, and if you find this video enjoyable, then yeah, share this video with your friends, especially with those who are thinking to buy a phone under 20,000 rupees right now. And subscribe to my channel, no matter if it is your first time, second time, third time. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do it, and tap the bell icon so that you will get notified whenever I will upload a new video. I will see you very soon in my next video. Until then, bye bye, take care.